A beautiful morning to you wherever you are joining us today on International Desk. I am Mojisola Sholaja. Today we are going to Cameroon to take a look at the re-emergence of Paul Biya for the 8th consecutive term as president of that country. And today I have joining me via Zoom political journalist Jarvis Butong, who is in Yaoundé, is joining us via Zoom. Good morning, Jarvis.
Good morning. It's my honor to join you to give to you live updates of what is happening in Cameroon just a few days after the proclamation of the 12th October presidential election, how the 10 regions are faring, and we look forward to discussing that with you within the program.
All right, thank you so much, Jarvis. I also have with me a UK-based Cameroonian. He is a journalist. He is a political economist. His name is Kingsley Shete. Kingsley Shete is the co-founder of Nation Builders, and that is talking about DISO project, a citizen-led election monitoring initiative in Cameroon that mobilizes thousands of volunteers to observe polling stations and transmit real-time data in the 2025 election cycle. Good morning, Kingsley. Good to have you on the program.
Good morning, Mojisola.
Yes, I'll start with Jarvis because he's based in Cameroon. I want him to quickly tell us about the situation of things since Paul Biya was announced the winner of the October 12th presidential election. It's the 8th consecutive time, and he happens to be the world's oldest president. Jarvis, what is it like in Cameroon now?
Okay, if you permit me, I would like to tell you how the election took place and before the proclamation,
okay,
and how candidate Issa Chiroma is claiming to be the winner. Okay, this election is coming at a time when President Paul Biya is taking his 8th term as the head of state since 1982. When he took to power. So Cameroonians at this moment, from 2018, they've always wanted they wanted a better government, they wanted a better way of living. So the organization of this election was also a moment for Cameroonians to go to the polls, choose who they really want to be at the head of the government. So I can say from what other newspapers, what other media are saying, is that Cameroonians, if they are moving into the streets or wanting a change, is because they have wanted a change since the past 8 years.
Mm-hmm.
And then,
okay, I'm still with you, Jarvis. You know, you're taking us through the process before the election, you know?
Yes.
So now that you just said it, that a lot of people did not, indirectly saying, did not actually vote Paul Biya back. They expected Issa Chiroma to win the election, and before the announcement of the election results, he declared himself winner, isn't it?
I am talking from the perspective of a journalist. I am not I do not take a political side.
That's okay.
I'm not a member of the FSN or the CPDM. Yeah, what I say is, Cameroonians, I just want to be balanced with the deontology of my profession. As a journalist, I'm supposed to be balanced and fair. You get it? So, if anything is happening now, it shows Cameroonians who've prepared. They've made up their minds that they won't change. So only the Constitutional Council has the right to declare who is the winner. I cannot tell only ELECAM and the Constitutional Council, they know what they did and how they got out the result that is proclaimed.
Okay, all right, thank you. Now, quickly to Kingsley now. You heard what he just said, that the Cameroonians wanted change. I want us to take a look at the election period, on the 12th of October. What was it like? Kingsley, are you there?
Yes, so I think I will just start by, first of all, just disagreeing with Jarvis. It's not only the Constitutional Council that has the right. It's a misinterpretation of the Electoral Code. They have the power to proclaim the final results, but the law allows everyone, every Cameroonian who votes, to know the results. That's why the Electoral Code says that every result should be published at the polling station, not long after voting has closed. Also, it means that if you have the individual results, then there's nothing prohibiting you from having an aggregate of those results. It's democracy. And if you have the aggregate of those results and it shows you've won, then in every democracy you have the power to be able to say, I have won, and you ask your opponent to concede. We saw that in Liberia. While vote counting was still going on, George Weah conceded to Joseph Boakai. We saw that, we've seen that in many other African countries where people concede before while vote counting is still going on. In the case of Cameroon, the Constitutional Council, which is made up largely of CPDM, the party of Paul Biya members, people who have no judicial background, like Uli, the woman, one of the women, the two women there, have no judicial background, so they cannot, in essence, have the power to be able to decide on what Cameroonians do, whereas evidence across the political spectrum, across the electoral system, shows to the contrary. And this is where this is the contention here. If you look at what Issa Chiroma did, he delegitimized those two bodies. He did that by refusing to go there. And the reason is, from 2018 to now, those two bodies have shown consistently that they are not impartial as they ought to be. They've never upheld anything brought by the opposition. They reject everything that is brought to them, even with evidence. They're basically in favor. Most crucially, after the elections, we saw a video of the head of the Constitutional Council, Clement Atangana, celebrating with champagne in his house, telling whoever was there, his sons or whoever, that I give victory for your candidate.
Okay.
It's the problem we have in Cameroon now.
Okay. I don't know if Jarvis wants to react to that, but he actually made his point that he resides there, and you as a co-founder of an electoral observer, you also have your own points. But without wasting much time, I still want Jarvis to tell us the situation on the ground now. What is it like in other regions? He told me off camera that Yaoundé is peaceful. How peaceful is it in other parts?
Okay, just for those who are watching us who do not know Cameroon, Cameroon has 10 regions, 358 subdivisions, and 58 divisions. This is to tell you that it's a whole lot of, to get all these 358 divisions, to get their reactions at a time. But I will tell you from the 10 regions. The far north, the Adamawa and Littoral, that's the three northern regions, and the Littoral and the west region have been uprising with youths taking to the streets lately. Before the proclamation even, we heard of the killing of a primary school teacher in the north, which that was the first case of killing in this uprising. And as of today, we can talk of the governor of the littoral region, Jude Iba made a statement saying 4 deaths were recorded in his region. And up to the lady in the north, we have already 5 official by the state official declared cases of death. Then before other minor injuries and burning, looting of properties in Chang, other parts of the country, you see, this is something that if care is not taken, it will become something unbearable. First of all, the country is going through a crisis. The two English-speaking regions, the Northwest and Southwest, have had 9 years of crisis. But let me not go deeper into that. So if care is not taken, the other regions, which I don't want to make it like it's a Muslim, it's a Northerners crisis, it's a particular group of people who want a change. I don't want to go deeply into that. So I can say the uprising is coming at the time when youth and most people who are not working for the government, they want the change. So these regions that have started, I think if care is not taken, it will move to the other peaceful region, and one day may come to Yaoundé where it is calm and everything is moving on smoothly right here in Yaoundé.
Okay, thank you so much, Jarvis. And I will now go back to Kingsley. You are the co-founder of DISO, an organization that was founded to collect and release election results, and I believe your organization was present during the election period. What was the observation? Peaceful, fair, transparent?
So this is a project by a coalition of civil society organizations. I co-founded the Nation Builders, and we initiated that with Barrister Michelle Ndoki. Jarvis will know him, she's a household name in Cameroon politics. Barrister Michelle Ndoki was at the Constitutional Council in 2018 when Professor Maurice Kamto declared himself winner. Now, one thing that she learned from that was that while he said he was winner, they didn't have the evidence from everywhere across Cameroon. And that was a big issue. And you had to rely on the state, machinery, the ELECAM, to be able to provide the evidence that you use to challenge them. So it was almost like you're going to court where you're asking your adversary to bring you the evidence that you need to challenge them. And so over the last 2 years, what we did was that we worked on coming up with a civil society initiative based on the PRVT model, the process and results verification for tabulation, for transparency, parallel tabulation model endorsed by the NDI. So we did that by recruiting volunteers. So Michelle, I am not in Cameroon, but I can tell you I've got my pulse on everything happening in Cameroon. I live and breathe and eat and drink Cameroon. So Michelle was in all the regions. She started with the northern regions, which are the most hard to reach. And we got volunteers from there. She went to the northwest and southwest where there's conflict, like Jerry said. And then of course, she's based in Douala. Then she went to Yaoundé, to the south and the east. So she covered the country, getting volunteers. These volunteers are people from all walks of life. We do not work with political parties. Now, these are ordinary Cameroonians. And what we did over the last 2 years was to train them and to tell them what their rights are with regards to election monitoring. First, we told them, as a registered voter, you have the right to be at that polling unit. Secondly, you have the right to be able to take an image of the election results. And then what we did was we also came up with an application, a technological application that will help crunch the numbers. Now, this has been a big challenge. I won't tell you that it was easy because we had a lot of pushbacks from the government. The Minister of Territorial Administration has been threatening long before the elections. He always threatens, he's been threatening about this, trying to tell us that you don't have the right. But we told him, we have the right as Cameroonians and as civil society to actually do this. And so what happened was that they launched attacks. We had to have 3 different sites. There was one called Elect Active that they attacked and they shut down. It didn't function. So what we did was we had disoapp.com, which we left for them as a mirror and as a diversion, and we had disoapp.org, which they did not know. That was where it was mirroring what the other one was, and that's where the election results were collected. So we had the PVs from most of the regions, except from most of the English and English-speaking regions where there's conflict and where there was insecurity. I will give an example of Jakiri. Jakiri is in the northwest region in Bui, and they combine. The law says that only 500 voters maximum in every police station, but in Jakiri they combined everyone from the subdivision into one polling unit that is between the house of the mayor and the divisional officer, and 15,000 voters were supposed to vote in one primary school. Practically impossible, but we could not even get a volunteer to go there. They gave victory to Biya. So those are some of the things that we recorded in terms of the process, but by the 24 hours after we had an exit poll that showed us that Chiroma was leading in most of the key places. And just so that I don't take so much time, one of the things that has happened in this election, what we have evidence of is that in the areas where Chiroma won, they lowered the percentages. They lowered the percentages in the vote counting commission. This is where the rigging massively took place. They lowered the percentages. And then in the areas where we didn't have volunteers, where people couldn't give out the information, where they could not verify, Biya won. Biya won, for example, in the northwest region of Cameroon, where there's been a conflict for 9 years. When she won, you know, a part of someone, I just spoke to a civil servant this morning, a civil servant who works in there, and he is crying. He said people went, a civil servant paid by the government, that people went. So the question people are asking is, who voted for Biya, that Biya gets 86% in a region where people hoped that he will go so that they can resolve the crisis. And so you can see that this is an election that we have had where every process, every stage has been controlled and manipulated to keep Biya in power.
Okay, thank you so much, Kingsley. Jarvis, would you say there was intimidation during the process, the voting process at all?
Yes, the information we had before the election states that the government of Cameroon had given accreditations to those who will be observers of the process of voting. Some non-governmental organizations were given accreditation, and they come too hard. Then every representative of a political, the 12 political parties that went into the elections had a representative in every of the polling stations. So.
Okay, hopefully Jarvis will come back to tell us the last part of that. It will still tell us. Oh yes, it froze for some seconds. Okay, let's continue with Kingsley now. Let's talk about post-election. Kingsley, are you still there? Okay, it seems we are having technical issues there. We can no longer link up with the duo of Jarvis and Kingsley, but so far, we'll take a break now. When we come back, the program, International Desk, will continue. Yes, we took a break, and you're still watching International Desk live from our studios in Abeokuta, the Ogun State capital. I still have Kingsley Shetei from UK and Jarvis Muton from Yaoundé in Cameroon. And now we'll focus on post-election period now. There is violence has erupted in most of the regions, in some regions in Cameroon. So I will ask Jarvis, what is the situation? Yes, in some regions, you said Yaoundé is peaceful so far, but some regions are not peaceful. The people trooped out to asking Paul Biya to step down. How is Issa Shiroma and his supporters taking this? I read it that he said some people were killed probably very close to his house. So what is the situation from opposition? How are they taking the results of the election?
Just before I answer that, I want to make a comment on what Kingsley said. In all the 3,000 plus polling stations, each of the 12 candidates had a representative in every polling station. The Ministry of Territorial Administration, headed by Mr. Paul Atangaji, made a clear statement that only those who are accredited will have access to police stations as observers. So there were some NGOs and other associations who seek for accreditation to cover the elections in police stations. Yeah, those who were accredited were permitted to be observers, to take pictures in police stations, to get results, to even journalists who did not have permission to cover. They were not allowed to take pictures in the police stations.
Okay, so now let's go to
this is yeah.
Okay, let's now go to post-election violence now due to time constraints. The opposition's reaction.
Okay, the situation at hand now, there's so much mixed feelings because in the 12 candidates, one has decided to declare himself the winner even before Electam brought the final result. So this is to tell you that the other candidates maybe they accept the outcome proclaimed by the Constitutional Council, but the FSN of Issa Chiroma have decided they give out messages daily. They give out messages daily to tell the population of Cameroon and the international bodies that they do not accept this election, and they make people to understand that they have PV that shows that the party won the elections in 8 regions. So I don't know.
Okay, thank you, Kingsley. Now that Paul Biya has another 8 years to rule, what are your expectations? I want you to answer this one briefly.
7 years is a 7-year mandate.
7 years, beg your pardon.
Yeah, if he survives what is happening in Cameroon, and just to correct that, we've had over 10 deaths. 2 were killed, 4 were killed in Douala on Sunday. That was before the results were even announced. 4 were killed in Douala. And one person, a regional delegate for fisheries, was killed yesterday in Bamenda. And then 2 were killed at Issa Chiroma's residence. And then on Monday, we had other killings again in Douala. And then 1 person has been shot today while going out shopping in Douala. So we have had over 10 deaths, and we should not gloss over the issues. In Douala, everywhere in Douala is shut down. On election day itself, there was violence in Chang, where the headquarters of the CPDM was burnt down. We've had protests in Banja, in Betwa. The police commissariat was surrounded yesterday by protesters and the military. Then in Kuburu, the police commissariat was burnt down last night. So we have a situation in Cameroon where, apart in Yaoundé, you've mentioned there's Brikiteri, there's Singa, there's Simbok. These places have been having, but the city is heavily militarized. It's heavily militarized. We are in a situation that looks like a war already. You don't win an election claiming that you have a mandate of the people, and then you militarize the country, you pull out all the military and send them out. We've seen where some of the soldiers have actually been telling the people that they are with them. And so Biya has a very difficult time in the next 10 days before his inauguration on October 6th. He will have a difficult time to be able to put together a country where for the last 10 to 15 years, he's only been able to manage 5 regions. 5 out of the 10 regions have been in conflict. The 3 northern regions have always been attacked by Boko Haram. You know that because it's the same situation in Nigeria. It encroaches in Wogo, in the border with Nigeria. We had 20 soldiers that were killed just to the build-up of this election. In the southwest and northwest, we had 89 who were killed in 2 days. So it's a very difficult time for a 92-year-old who does not visit the country, who is hardly there, who does not talk to Cameroonians, to be able to claim that he's got a mandate to rule a country that is disintegrating.
All right, thank you so much, Kingsley. Jarvis, let me hear from you, please.
Yes, from what is happening now, people are expecting that since, the Constitutional Council is the final say, this is already done. President Paul Biya will take the next 7 years. And now, before the 6th of November swearing in, we've had time to talk with young people. What are their expectations? You see, President Paul Biya, the first message he took to the social media is he wants to first of all thank all Cameroonians for trusting him. And he mentioned the fact that he has the youth and women in.
Yes, I'm with you, Jarvis. We're about rounding up the program. So
yes, so the youth now are expecting that in the next 7 years, let President Paul Biya have a national dialogue, inclusive with the youth, create employment for the youth, and of course the youth, they don't care about really who is at the helm. They care about the policies that are put in place. Is it favorable for business? Is it okay that youth will be able to be independent, to be able to create? So from what we've gathered, that youth we've had time to talk with youth, find out what is really the problem of the youth. They really do not care about who is at the helm, whether it's the CPGM or...
All right, Jarvis. Time is actually against us, but hopefully, since his inauguration is next Thursday, hopefully we'll do a part 2 of this to talk about expectations from Paul Biya, isn't it? All right, well, thank you, gentlemen.
Yes, I will be readily available to talk.
Okay, what about you, Kingsley?
I'm always available. Yes.
All right, thank you so much, gentlemen. We've come to the end of the program International Desk for this week. Let's do it again same time next week. Till then, remain blessed.
Food and shelter are crucial for survival and well-being of the people. providing the energy and nutrients for the body to function, and a safe place to protect from dangers. In this episode of Giant Strides, our focus will be on the World Food Day and the World Habitat Day, and the need for government at all levels to conceptualize food production and provide shelter that will protect people from weather